This is Apple's macOS logo from 1995. You might have seen this all over the place in schools back in the day. Computer labs filled with stuff like iMac G3s, all displaying this when they booted up. Kinda looks like a Picasso painting, girl before a mirror to name an example. Now imagine if this logo was alive and had a personality. No, multiple personalities actually. Let's go a step or two further, maybe ask a couple of questions. What if this multiple personality logo Picasso painting had a full body and long black hair on one side of her head, shorter on the other? What if she was the player character in the most surreal mid-1990s Philips CDI game your nightmares can produce? What if this was actually not a game, but an ongoing animated series on the internet with this character in the starring role? The answer to all of that is ENA. ENA is kinda hard for me to describe, and I'd say that's on purpose. After all, the series' description on Newgrounds is, and I quote, "some weird shit that don't make sense." Seriously, where the f do I begin? Should I discuss how original, awesome, and creative it is? Should I wax poetic over the ball of joy and sadness that is ENA herself? The little details that push this series over the top? The comedy? The fact that Lizzie Freeman, Pomni from the Amazing Digital Circus, voices one of ENA's multiple personalities or emotional states? Now let's back up a moment. ENA comes to us from Joel Guerra, or Joel G. You might recognize them from the Two Ants One President series and Hands Up. As far as ENA the series goes, it's been around since 2020 with 4 episodes released to date. And oh boy, this returns me to ENA being kinda hard to describe, but I'll do my best to do just that. This really is the kind of show that needs to be digested slowly, watched multiple times in a row even, because of all the surreal and nonsensical elements it has. They're not overwhelming or overbearing, but it's enough to catch you off guard and make you say, what the crap just happened? And then you turn around and realize you have the biggest, goofiest grin on your face, and you want more. Lots more. All that said, don't expect me to delve deep into the show's story, lore, or anything much regarding individual episodes' plots. Just know that each episode has its own unique things going on, both in story and visually, be it ENA going to therapy in Power of Potluck, or going to an auction in, Auction Day. That's really what this series is about. ENA exploring the bonkers universe she happens to exist in and getting involved in various hijinks. What helped sell ENA for me were her design, based off those aforementioned Picasso paintings, and how her appearance and voice change according to her current emotional state or personality. When she's happy, the yellow side of her face grows a mouth and nose, and her voice is more masculine. When she's sad, those features move over to her blue side, and her voice becomes more feminine. When she acts drunk or becomes super sad, she turns into those 2 dudes from the Star Trek episode Let That Be Your Last Battlefield. Also, her drunk form has an entirely different voice. There's an extremely sad form where her entire body turns a gray color, and a form where her entire body turns yellow that appears when she seems to be super happy. Then there's the mask that shows up in Power of Potluck. That and the episode's overall structure and themes are open to interpretation regarding any deeper meanings behind them, but a bunch of people have said that the mask and everything ENA goes through in the episode are allegories for someone suffering from depression and trying their hardest to find happiness, but can't. Think about it. A literal happy mask worn constantly to hide the sadness, attached to her like a parasite. Saddina's first appearance in the episode is right before the mask is destroyed, during the part where she goes to therapy. That goes to show that there are some deeper messages here, both in the series and surrounding ENA herself, though again, all that is open to interpretation. You might see all this as fans making a big deal out of nothing. Still, it's part of why I love ENA so much, both the character and the series she's in. Another little detail I loved about Power of Potluck? ENA actually expressing confusion for once, as if she's starting to realize how screwed up her world is. Save for Auction Day, the series is shown through ENA's point of view, almost as if you were playing a video game with her as the main character. That's most apparent in Temptation Stairway and Power of Potluck, particularly the latter. It's also implied that she's not the only ENA in existence. There's a scene in Temptation Stairway where ENA passes through a void-like space populated by 3 other ENAs, clones of herself all glitching into mannequins. Not to mention the Shepherd's dialogue and something else I'll talk about in a few moments. ENA has a friend named Mooney. Mooney is cool. She has a skateboard, an arsenal of killer tricks involving said skateboard, a hole in her face that she sticks various things into, and appearances in every single episode so far, often as a comic relief. Oh yeah, about that comedy. Be it the characters' dialogue and word choices, Mooney being Mooney, the various one-off characters who appear throughout the series, the exaggerated Zelda CDI-like movements everyone makes, or the sheer amount of nonsense that happens throughout, the comedy is on point overall. I did say that watching this was like playing some obscure mid-90s CDI game, backed up by the art and animation style. Pixelated shapes, dithered and limited colors, weird 3D monstrosities, low polygon counts, all the things you need to scratch that very specific nostalgia itch. If you have nostalgia for stuff like mid-90s video games, that is. Also, is it weird for me to say that Trapper Keeper art wouldn't look out of place here? Regardless, the character designs, not just Ina's, are all pretty memorable thanks to the series' art style. Pink Dolphin Dude and Brick Frog from Temptation Stairway, the Therapist, also known as that Skull Dude from Power of Potluck. If I don't start having dreams involving all these characters, I'm going to be really surprised. Then there are the voices and how amazing they are, for the most part. Happy ENA has had several different voice actors over the years. Mark Raffanon in Auction Day, Gabe Velez in Extinction Party and Temptation Stairway, and Griffin Poitou in Power of Potluck. Why so many different voices? The first two, Raffanon and Velez, were both booted from the project for, let's just say, doing some big-time no-nos with a child and doing a hideous thing that rhymes with tape, respectively. Since I want to get back on the good side of YouTube's algorithm overlords after they seem to ignore my monkey wrench video for whatever reason, let's just talk about the other voices who have contributed to this series, including Lizzie Freeman as both Sad Ina and Mooney, not to mention the Mask from Power of Potluck, Senor Pelo as the Merchant from Temptation Stairway, and Edwin Tiong, aka Omadon, as Ulysses from Temptation Stairway. They're all awesome and feel just right for their roles, all the issues surrounding Happy Ina considered. And the Shepherd from Temptation Stairway? Her voice is kinda familiar. Despite what I said at the start of this, there is a real ENA video game. It's called Dream BBQ, and as of the time I'm making this, it's still in development. As far as I know, there is no time frame for its release, and it has seen delays. Mainly so the team working on it can deliver the best experience possible and not melt into a congealed puddle of soylent green sludge while doing so. Also, hats off to Joel G and the ENA team for going all out on the delay announcement. They didn't need to make a full-on animation for it, as minimalistic as it was. They could have simply made a text post somewhere saying, hey, Dream BBQ is being delayed because we want to give you the best experience we can, and we don't want to overwork everyone who's contributing to the game. But they didn't. They made this instead. That's another part of what makes ENA so special. Even the little things have some amount of flair, something worth discussing. It's not much, but it's appreciated nonetheless. Let me be the 58 millionth person to say, take your time. We'll be here and we'll be playing no matter when it releases. Also, there will be a new ENA complete with new voices from Alex Lee and Noah Klopp. Should be fun. Until then, there's still the 4 episodes that have been released so far, all adding up to one of the most creative, unique, and original indie animation projects at the moment. I'm glad I finally made a video about ENA, and if I've pressed all the right buttons and no more Pandora's boxes open up in my personal life, this should go live on ENA Day, ENA's birthday, February the 23rd. That's how good ENA is. She has an unofficial holiday surrounding her, and fans celebrate in part by posting animations, memes, art, and so on. All of that is possible because of Joel G and the people who work behind the scenes on things like ENA's animation and music, making something memorable, something sublime, and something awesome. Perhaps most important, ENA is fun. Great enough for me to want more. So much more. More adventures with her and Mooney, even them buddying up with a Dream BBQ ENA at some point. More of that batshit insanity. More frosted doses of surrealism. That's how truly great ENA is, and I can't wait to see what the series' future brings. Thank you for watching, take care of yourselves, and, how good is Turon anyways? Turon.